Welcome you all this evening to our meeting this evening for November 18th. Yankton County Commission meeting at November 18th. Welcome you all here, and if you'd all make sure your lids are off and your phones are muted, and join me in the national pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah.
Again, thanks for everyone showing up this evening. Patty, would you please call the roll?
Here.
Here. Here. Any one of the board members have any financial conflicts of interest this evening?
I do not.
I do not.
I do not.
I do not. I get a approval of the agenda for this evening.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion by Don, second by Wanda to approve the agenda for this evening's event. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Now is the time for public comment. Public comment is a time for persons to address this body on any subject. No action may be taken on a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been specifically included on an agenda as an item upon which action will be taken. Each person has up to 3 minutes to speak. There shall be no personal attacks against the members of this body, county staff, individual, or organizations. The chair has the authority to enforce this policy. Failure to adhere to these rules may result in forfeiture of the remaining speaking time. Per county policy, the Yankton County Commissioners will not engage in conversation or make statements during public comment. Anyone wish to get up and to the mic and speak as public comments? Seeing and hearing none, public comment is closed. We do have a
That's
Item.
advertised for 6:10, so we can do something.
move on to
Library.
library. Dana, would you like to step up a little early?
There we go. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Dana Schmidt, Yankton Community Library Director. And so I'm just here, we're renewing the agreement for the provision of library services. And that's something that we do annually. And so you guys had agreed on a $9,000 contribution to the library this year. And so that's just renewing that agreement that we have. And that includes the $20 payment from individuals for the library card. So just kind of highlighting some of the things that are new since the last time I was here and talked to you. We do have a streaming service that we've added to the library services. It's called Canopy. So if you have a library card, you now have access to that. You don't find new releases there, but there's lots of award-winning films and documentaries. There's children's programming, TV series, foreign films, and lots of other stuff there. So we're excited for that. We just started that in mid-August. And that is unlimited viewing for a year that we have that. And we've also started a partnership this year with Yankton Area Ice Association. We are checking out some ice passes. With library card, we have limited amount of passes, but we have some for open skate and hockey games. So that's another new partnership that we have and something that you're able to try in the community. So that's what I have for you. But if you have any questions for me about any services or about the agreement that we have, I'd be happy to answer those.
One, and I say this every time, but appreciate you, appreciate the library. It's a great organization. It still bothers me that we charge our rural residents $20 to be able to get a library card. And from what I understand from you, we're the only library in the state that does that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so is it, how can we do that? Because I when speaking with rural residents, it's always a sticking point. Those people are driving to Yankton and they're buying their groceries and whatever, and they're paying sales tax. It just doesn't seem fair that we're the only library that if you live outside the municipality, that they charge you. So, I mean, every other city library in the whole state doesn't do this. We're the only one who does it. And is there a way we can work through that? What would be your suggestion, I guess, for that?
Well, for one thing, I think to have that conversation during the budget
Yeah.
season, a little earlier in the process. But I think there are so many different formats of this.
Mhm.
And I had mentioned, I think in July, that there are counties that pay 100% of the library budget, 50%, 80%, different things like that. So it looks different all over. And if you've been following the news at all, Rapid City right now, their county has cut their budget quite a bit for what they're providing to the library. And so Rapid City will be charging for anyone outside of the city limits of Rapid City. And other libraries that I've talked to have kind of mentioned going to that as well. And I think to me, it kind of makes sense that it does help supplement all these programs that the library is offering. It is, in my opinion, a small fee, from individuals to help with those things. So, but if it's something that, you guys want to negotiate, I think next year during the budget season, we can have some of those discussions and talk through that.
Hey Dana, how many rural county residents do you have with library cards right now?
We have 877 county cards. And so that $20 fee is for the whole household. So if everyone in the household has a card, it's still just $20 for the household. And that could be one card for the household, but there could be five people using that card. So that 877, while it's a good number, I feel like that doesn't fully represent all the services that we can provide to people and do provide to people in the county. You don't have to have a library card to come to all of the programs that we offer in the summer. And I gave you guys a form that I put in front of you before the meeting. If you see the programs that we have offered, I don't know if I have it right now, but
Yep.
yeah, I do. In 2024, we offered 421 programs. Mostly all of those are free or very inexpensive, and we had 10,540 people in attendance. And this year, we've already offered 377 programs and had 12,560 people in attendance. So we're 2,000 people ahead of where we were last year. So just offering a lot of programs. We're at community events like Riverboat Days and Harvest Halloween, and that's not included in that 877 number. But we're obviously reaching more people. We're going into the school classrooms. During National Library Week, we visited many of the kindergarten classrooms. During October, we went into a lot of 5th grade classrooms. So we're interacting with a lot more people than those 877. But
So the $20 per card, that's, $17,500 to your budget that helps you fund those programs as well. So, if we're talking about trying to get rid of that $20 fee, then we should be looking at funding the library $30,000 a year. And more, yeah. So I don't know. I think the $20 is a great example of community support. So
thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anything else?
Any other questions from the committee?
No, sir.
Hearing none. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming tonight and sharing this information with us.
Yes, thank you. Do you want?
Do you sign that now or so she can take
Already
it?
signed, yeah.
Okay.
Do we
Yep.
probably-
Motion.
I move we approve the agreement or
Second.
Had a motion by Ryan, second by Wanda to approve the agreement with Yankton City Library. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mike is here, moving right along. Want to talk about the Stone Church Bridge?
So are we not talking about medical cannabis? Because there are people here for that.
Oh, I'm sorry, it is 6:10. Yes, we'll do that. Good eye, Cat. Good catch on the clock. I'm so excited about this evening that I didn't even pay any attention to the time.
Well, that happens when you come to a county commission meeting.
Certainly.
Satan.
We're 21.
I am.
Patty, you want to discuss? Or present?
You just have in your packet the applications for the 2026 medical cannabis renewals. And some of them are here if you have any questions. And it's just the same as, you know,
It's the same $5,000 fee.
for each one.
So Patty, it's, if they're doing grow and manufacture, that's 5,000 for each
That's
one of
great.
those.
For each license.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep. And one did not renew.
Did you want, what did you want, just a motion to approve them all, or do you want to do them separate?
No, you can do them all. I think that's how we do the liquor license.
Move approval of the renewals.
Second.
Got a motion by Dan, seconded by Wanda to approve the renewals. Any further discussion from the committee?
And I think we gotta ask.
We need
for
to have public comment.
Yeah, I gotta ask for public comment.
I'd ask for public comment at this time. No public comment. Public comment is closed. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Right?
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Congratulations. That was simpler than the summer study, wasn't it?
And if you, so you can contact the auditor's office when you need your certificate. They'll,
Yep.
Alyssa will be happy to give.
Or I'll have Alyssa give you a call.
Mike, now is the time for the discussion on the Stone Church Bridge.
Just to start the discussion, Stone Church Bridge, is finally out for bid. They're actually opening bids tomorrow, the DOT is. What I gather, and you can look at the bid letting information on the website, but, there's plenty of interest in there, so, and talking to the guys up in Pier, since there's so much interest, hopefully bids will come back very competitive. So the one thing that we need to discuss or get to thinking about is how we're going to pay for it. So it's a federal grant. The county is on the hook for 18.05% of the bridge.
Which is how much?
We don't know for sure. We'll find that out hard number
Tomorrow.
But last time we bid it, low bid was 8 million, high bid was 12. We're kind of hoping for the 10 to 12 million. It's kind of what we're looking for. Comes back at 10 million. Well, that's 1.8 million we got to come up with over the next 2 years.
Wouldn't it be better to get an $8 million bid then?
That would be even better. I like it, but anyways, something to think about. Talking to Doug Kinnenberg, we can do it over 4 quarterly payments. They'll be sending us bills throughout the project, predicting 2 years it'll take to replace the bridge. I have had discussions about our, every year, the highway department, we get STIP money. Don't want to do it, but one of the possibilities is deferring our STIP money every year to go for payments on that bridge, on that project, which we can do that for any of our roads or bridge projects that we would like, but that is approximately about 300,000 a year. That's what we get out of that. Still, that's one option we have.
That didn't cover it either.
Not all the way, no. because they will only do that for a maximum of 7 years. That would cover it, I
So do
guess,
you
if it comes back at 10 million.
But, yeah, but that's really short change in the county for a long time doing that to you.
Do you have information on the usage of the 4 bridges on the James?
Like
Transportation numbers of vehicles.
traffic counts, not with me, but yes.
And what's the traffic count on that? Is it first or the second or third or fourth?
Probably between, it'd be probably a tie between second and third, somewhere in there.
So lesser use than some of the other bridges.
Right.
But in a worse shape, correct?
Right.
Well, and the detours are pretty significant for that area as well. So if that bridge was closed, there's a fairly long detour to the west or to the east, and with the flooding that we get, the East Bridge, the Jamesville Bridge is closed, and you'd have to go all the way to 81, which is, but that's gotta be,
81 or
20.
25, which
Yeah,
you'd have
so-
to get around through 18 and,
if I remember, it was close to a 20-mile detour.
oh, you got Maxwell there
Yeah,
too.
yeah, so.
But $1.8 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
That we don't have.
I would hate to not do this project. We've been trying for how long to do one of these bridges?
When we have that, we have the federal grant that's already approved for this, and if we don't do it,
We lose it.
we lose it. So,
Mhm.
you know, I
And that's the other thing with these federal grants, I don't know what's going on. I haven't, no one knows if they're gonna continue. If they take that program away, that,
Well, speaking with, I believe Hutchinson County put in a road and bridge levy. I think Stanley County did that as well. I mean, there's a lot of counties that are doing that so they can afford to do these projects. We don't have one currently. But we gotta pay for it somehow.
Still got to pay for it.
Well, I would hope the citizens would understand, going to a project like this,
4 bridges across the river.
yeah,
There's a lot of bridges for one county.
it is.
How many people do we think actually go across that bridge?
the ADT, I would have
Just a guesstimate. I'm not gonna hold you to it.
150
A day, a week, a
right.
month?
a day, ADT,
I think it depends on the year too.
right?
So
Depends,
And
Depends on the time-
of year.
the time of year.
we have traffic counts. We don't know the traffic types though. Or you don't have, do you have it broken?
There,
down,
there would be
traffic
more
types?
truck traffic.
Yeah.
That's load limited right now.
Yeah,
And so if it was open to full, I would imagine it would get a lot more, because I know
Right.
the Lesterville guys, all in grain would like to take that route, but they can't because it's load limited
Mhm.
right now. So it would be higher, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Or
it's-
lower?
Right now, the way the restrictions are on it, an empty semi, that's about all you can get across it.
Loaded fire truck, if there's a fire on a resident south of the bridge is not legally gonna cross it, but it's an emergency vehicle, so I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's loaded semis cross that bridge every day. Maybe not very many, but some.
Mr. Chair, this kind of goes back to our discussion that we had, and, at some point, I think a strategic planning session is going to be necessary just to plan out the future. I mean, we already know budget's going to be tight next year, probably tighter than this year. And how are we going to pay for these types of things? We should probably get a plan together as well and get some community input on what people want to see and what they're willing to pay for, because it's ultimately tax dollars that'll have to be spent.
I think there's a big of how much the bids are gonna come in. I
Yeah.
mean, I think before you make a decision, you have to.
Your mic's not on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Almost.
I would agree. I would agree, Patty.
Yeah, I
Is it on
think,
now?
yeah, go ahead.
What that is what the county would have to end up with. I mean, this guessing of, you know, if it's a 10 million, you know, 8 million, 9 million.
Right, it's a big difference, 1.8 to 2.5 million.
Yeah.
Which we'll know them answers tomorrow. Then we can do some more research on which direction, how.
And I think there's a couple of people that we need to talk to from the state also, because, you know, whether they want to admit it or not, they kind of a little bit put us in this position by with the first grant that we got to redo the bridge. And, you know, we ended up not being able to do it. So then they suggested we go ahead and apply for this grant with the ability at that time to apply for another state grant also. And then all of a sudden in the process, the state backs out and says, you can't double dip on a
Yeah.
federal state grant. So,
Well, and what we found out at convention too, there's a lot of federal money that is supposed to go, federal money go to the state and local government, and the state keeps almost all of it for their roads, and very little of it comes down to the county, but
So what you're telling me is it's gonna be damn hard to get money
well,
to do this.
I think Patty had a good point. Let's get the bids in, and then we should probably have a meeting and see what our options are, whether it's a bond, whether it's, I mean, ultimately the taxpayers are gonna have to pay for it, and it's gonna be up to them to decide, do they want to do this or do they not? And that's what it'll be. So,
That's another
Yeah.
one of those kind of unfair things about
is.
the system, because
it is.
there's a 2% or 3% of the population's up there to vote, and then the rest of the county,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but that 2% of the county is the ones that are using that bridge.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying the numbers are against them.
Yeah. Well,
it is, but there's a lot of people in Menlo that come to Yankton and pay sales tax on groceries and other things too.
Yep.
So,
so I propose we wait for bids to come back, get them, and then
Yeah, we'll
maybe
see what
some
they are.
type of strategic planning meeting and see what our options are and go from there.
enough on the bridge talk. Let's talk about something else.
Then I also had, I need to advertise for some, Ajax, it's some erosion control. I need to put out for bid for that, and then also,
Is that on the bridge, or where's that at? Where would the erosion control be?
under Marindal Bridge.
Marindal Bridge. Okay.
Was that one of the items you had planned in the budget?
That project was in the plan last year. Was this specific in the budget for this year? No, because we had to do the engineering on it. That's what we decided back in the summer. And now the project has taken place, so. And this is FEMA.
This is a damage, bridge that
It's
was
flood
damaged.
damage from last year's flood that, if you remember up Brandon T.
Yeah.
Turner County, they got hit with that 10 to 15 inch rain.
Yep. That part of the county's in the Vermilion River drainage basin, and they got a lot of water through there.
Fact is, it's not in the budget.
We've been paid for this already, though.
Yeah.
FEMA paid.
Yeah, we've been
Okay.
paid for the damages to the bridge by FEMA.
I'd move approval to advertise for Ajax erosion material.
Got a motion by Dan, second by
Second.
Wanda to approve the bid letting for the Ajax for the Marindal Bridge. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Right.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Then I also wanted to advertise for bid for gravel.
Can we do that if was that okay with the agenda as it is?
I don't, Deb, can we do, if it's not on the,
No.
Advertise for material, would that work? Says advertise for materials.
Parentheses Ajax.
In parentheses, Ajax.
Mm-hmm.
But, materials, I think, we'll see what Deb says.
I think unfortunately with the parentheses, I think.
Sorry, Mike.
Okay. Well, let's put me on the agenda for the next meeting.
We'll miss you, so. yeah. Thanks.
And then we'll know
Appreciate it.
what the bids are.
Right.
Yes, he's gonna be on the agenda anyway, so. Okay, thanks, Mike.
All right. Thank you.
Ambulance discussion. Gary, you want to come up and assist? As many of the public knows, we've been advertising for probably a year for an ambulance administrator here at Yankton County Ambulance Services. We have not found a capable candidate at this point in time, to manage and administrate for our ambulance service. Troy is doing a fantastic job as interim ambulance administrator. However, we did get an application from a gentleman that moved back here from California, was it? It was a ambulance administrator in California that has a couple of issues that would put him in a part-time situation, working 24 hours a week guaranteed, plus certain time frames he would be putting more time in and time from home, working from home as a hybrid. That's about as much as I know, probably about as much as Gary knows, but the gentleman is in the interview process, has a lot of administrative skills that we may be lacking now or may not, but would like to kind of maybe use this as a learning curve to see if we would have a probationary period for 1 year.
Correct.
To see if this is going to work on a part-time basis. If we could, I believe we could pull the plug at any time with it if we find that it's not working here. But we haven't really gotten many applications in with any better stats than what this gentleman has. So Gary, I'm going to let you discuss a little bit more with what we've proposed and what your thoughts are.
Sure. So basically, we asked, for a schedule, and he said, well, he's off various times with the other job that he has. He needed the federal insurance. That's why he can't come to Yankton full time, but he's available. He lives in Elk Point. He would have to commute some. But we offered a certain amount of money that he was fine with, and there could be some cost savings there and still get the job done, but it's all a preference for you. You've all seen the schedules, you've all seen the amounts, and like John said, there's a year probation written in that. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So it just kind of depends on which direction you want to go.
there is a very good candidate that's already works there, and it's not, I guess it's, I don't have any choice in it, but it's.
Well, my concerns, and I understand we've been looking for a long time to find somebody. I haven't had a lot of luck, but this is a 24/7 operation. I mean, the ambulance is there all the time. To have a person that can only work there 24/7 4 hours a week. To me, it doesn't seem like that's gonna be able to work. How, and I understand he works in another ambulance, and so that could cause problems at certain times. And then this, I don't, how, there was mention he might work from home. How would that work?
I think they're talking scheduling when they're working from home, obviously.
I mean, and maybe if we need to hire somebody who just does scheduling, maybe
Well,
maybe that
we
would
have
be
people that are doing scheduling now and it's been causing a problem. We've been hearing about it over and over and over again.
yeah.
And I, for one, am tired of hearing about it. Let's just pick somebody and see if it works.
There's. Sorry,
I'm actually for giving this an opportunity to try this. As far as we have a 24-hour, 7-day a week ambulance service right now. We need to have, in my mind, we need to have an administrator that has administrative background that manages and looks at other opportunities for our ambulance service.
and I think you have that right now.
I disagree with that. I don't think we do at this point.
Yeah.
But that's only my opinion, and I'm just sharing that with the rest of the commission.
That's what I'm
know,
just sharing too.
I know.
Ms. Chair, so if we wouldn't be adding any more staff, then it would just, this position would take the place of the full-time administrator.
Yes.
Then
So you're
it'd be
paying
short.
them the
No.
full-time?
No, we're paying them part-time. No health insurance benefits.
What kind of legal exposure do we have taking an approach like this?
Why would we have any exposure?
Why? Well, I guess if I needed the ambulance and somebody didn't show up or didn't do their job or missed an assignment, I guess I'd be after that ambulance administrator. And
Well, but we haven't,
and I think that there's 50,000 lawyers that would all line up to sue.
well, there's only 1,850 in South Dakota, so that kind of limits it.
50 states.
But how is that any different than how we've been limping along without somebody and for the last year? And we've got a number of problems, and it seems like the problems aren't being fixed because they're all internal bickering between people that have worked here for years. And maybe it's time to bring in some outside blood to say that can administrate and say, we're going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to do that.
But he's gotta be there to do it too.
Yeah, halftime.
That's my concern. I agree with everything you said, but this guy's running a 24/7 operation, 24 hours a week. I just don't see how he's gonna implement being there a couple days a week and then maybe even working from home. How do you
Don't
lead
we
an
have
ambulance
people-
working from home?
Don't we have people on the schedule that are there,
But
that are supposed to be there? That when a call comes in, they're supposed to jump in the ambulance and drive away? How is that going to be any different?
well, I think that the ambulance administrator in the job description is supposed to also be a paramedic or EMT who can jump in and fill those calls. And so my concern is we will be down another EMT or paramedic with him not able to fulfill that role, because that's what Steve did. That's what Eric did. That's what those guys did. That was a leader of the department, yes, but also able to jump in and fill the role of a paramedic.
Well, it's
when
my,
needed to be.
it's my understanding that Steve didn't do that for 3 years because he was sick.
Well,
And it's my
before
further understanding,
that he did.
it's my further understanding that the job description was rewritten so that it would include the last ambulance administrator that we had. And how did that work for us?
What about continuing to advertise for a couple more months and
We are.
Okay.
We are.
I think
Yeah,
that-
it hasn't stopped.
I think what we're in a situation where we need to hire somebody. We understand that. But I think we also maybe understand that this isn't a perfect situation, but we just desperately need somebody or want somebody in there. And I would say we're settling with a situation that is likely not going to work out in the long term.
I disagree. I think this is an unknown. I think this is, but I think there's a potential, this could work out well and be a cost savings in the long run. But we have to try it, I think. And I think with that year probation, it really gives us a really nice long trial period.
So is that a motion?
So cost savings by like having him part-time.
By having a part-time administrator versus a full-time.
And no benefits.
And no benefits. And we already are down that paramedic because we have no full-time administrator. We've been doing that for a year.
And we've had
And we've
had some people threaten to quit because of the schedule changes that come at the last minute. So
Well,
And we're gonna continue to advertise for the position. It's not like we're gonna stop looking for 1 year. We can run the advertising, continue moving forward, looking for an administrator. And this gentleman understands that. And if we come up with someone tomorrow that we can look at, he probably still will work for us for 24 hours a week as a paramedic. I agree with Ryan. I think it's an opportunity that we could try out. We're one of the only ambulance services in the state that is owned by us, by counties. And I think we owe it to our constituents and our residents that we continue to own the ambulance service. And I think we owe it to our residents that we try new things and make sure that our ambulance service is as good as it has been and continues to be as good as it can be. And this is an opportunity. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Have we had applications from other individuals?
We've
yeah,
had prob-
ever or since this guy?
We've had applications of two individuals, I think, in the past, since we started advertising this, that about $140,000 a year salary would get them to come to Yankton, and then we
Yeah.
still don't know
Yeah.
how they are.
That's been the issue is that, yeah, they're all making a lot of money. They all work a lot of hours. And to get somebody to come here, yeah, generally, just about everybody we offered the job to was in that 140 plus range. And so that's part of the issue.
Didn't they also use that offer to bump up their income from where they are? And
That
stay there?
happened three of the 5 times, I think, that we were ready to hire somebody.
I guess I think it also needs to be said that, I know Troy applied, he's done a good job. And I don't know what the harm of giving him a chance and hiring an internal person would be. I mean, he's been a loyal employee for us. I know he took over when Steve was sick. He took over when Eric left. He's been running it for a year, maybe not perfect, but I'm not perfect either.
Well, he also said that he wasn't going to apply for the job,
But then
which is why he was on the choosing committee.
Well, then he did though, and I just would say loyalty goes both ways, and we could give him an opportunity, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Well, he's
I
been
think
doing it
that's-
for the last year and we've had these problems, which is we're trying to resolve these problems and not have them anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll make a motion that we make an offer to the man from Elk Point on the part-time basis on a probationary period for a year and see how it works out.
Second.
I have a motion by Wanda, second by Ryan to make an offer to Jeff from Elk Point to take over the ambulance administrative position. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's do a
Want a
roll call vote.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Dan,
No,
Don,
No.
John.
Yes. Motion carries.
Now let's talk about plats.
Now let's talk about the plats.
One
Since you're
plat,
at the microphone.
yeah, one plat this evening, plat of tract one of Bicov addition. An addition in the north half of the northwest quarter of section 14, township 93 north, range 57 west of the fifth principal meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota. This was all done pre-ordinance, so this at least brings it a little more closer to compliance. And they're just adding on the little chunk that was platted in like 1999 to add to their lot because they have a building that crosses the lot line, so.
move approval.
Second.
Motion by Dan, second by Ryan to approve the plat. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Let's discuss from our last meeting, we said we were going to discuss the opportunity or the possibility of putting together a financial action network committee to work with Yankton County on our budget process setting up, which would mean that we would start that committee, hopefully could start on January 1 of 26 and follow through and help us prepare our budget for 2027. And I'd like to start out with the commissioner's response, and we do have a guest here this evening that may be here to if we want to ask some questions about the process as a professional budgeter, I think is how we would call it. And Mrs. Terry Crandall is here, so if you would, Catherine, you know, I knew that earlier today. I was prepping myself, and then I sat down here and I forgot your first name, and I'm sorry. But if you would, you know, we'll discuss it here for a few minutes, and then I'll ask you to come up to the microphone and let us in on your plans or some processes that you feel that we should look at. I know that this has been a conversation that came up from the Minnehaha County budgeting process where they had people from the area and from inside the county and business people take a look at how the budgeting process for Minnehaha County worked and what steps they could take, and business people always know the budgeting process. And there's some of us are business people, and we're not saying that we don't know the budgeting process, but we could certainly more eyes on that kind of stuff, especially in today's marketing systems and things like that, with the state kind of tying our hands a little bit also, we certainly need to take a different approach to what's been going on in the last few years and open this up for discussion. Don and Dan, you've been kind of our budgeting gurus for the last couple of years, so.
Don, you want to start?
Go ahead.
Well, it's should be no surprise that, you know, Yankton County as well with numerous counties across the state, you know, we're facing pretty significant financial challenges. I mean, we're based almost exclusively off of property tax, why, you know, 80% of our budget goes to unfunded mandates by the state of South Dakota. And a lot of those poor relief in indigent medical, indigent legal, and those costs are all skyrocketing. And there's something around 19 property tax bills that are going to be possibly moving forward. Talking with legislators, mostly from other areas, you know, they say, well, they just need to cut, and okay, what would you like us to cut? They have no idea, especially with the county budget. But so much of what we have to do is mandatory, juvenile detention, holding people in our jail and with the court. So I guess I think it would be a good idea to have some additional eyes on our budget and, just give us some recommendations as well and what we need to do. What do you think, Don?
Yeah, I could support that. I think there's a number of things that would have to be established in order for it to work.
Mhm.
We'd have to know who has authorities and what authorities they have, and how we handle recommendations and a number of things. But you are getting some different eyes
Mhm.
on the package. One of the things I think would be a challenge would be learning what the state does
Mhm.
in the budgeting process. And
Yep.
that's a challenge.
Catherine, you want to come up and speak a little bit about that? If you know anything about, I think in our meeting, the group that you put together knows a little bit about state budgeting also.
Yes, I got an accountant who is knowledgeable about governmental accounting, and it's a broad range of people that I've got on a group, and we're considering doing this. We have not said we're going to be willing to do it for sure, but I've got a data miner expert. I have the governmental accountant. These are mostly retired people, but not all. I have a highly educated accountant. She's master's of accounting and MBA, extremely knowledgeable about accounting. I have 45 years of budgeting experience for the Avera system. My expertise was I was a technical accountant, and I'm retired, and I specialized in financial analysis, financial reporting, and budgeting. So that's kind of my background. So how I've always approached budgeting is I watch it very closely throughout the year, and that means a monthly look at your budget and budgeting, not over an annual, not, divided by 12, but you have to budget by month. And then you compare it as to how you're going throughout the years. So it's a deep dive into the books.
If you look at accounts payable and receivable.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to look at everything, because really you have to look at the audit too, to see what kind of issues the auditors are seeing, to see if, because really the key to a good budget are the books correct? So if you don't have really accurate books, then your budget is suspect.
You don't know what you're there.
That's right. And since I retired, I do this for nonprofits. Nobody pays me anymore. I just do it. But typically I do find some issues. I've never really found anything nefarious or anything worrisome. It's just, it really shouldn't be posted this way. That's where your technical accountant comes in. So usually you fix those things, and then you also look deeply at how revenue is, what your revenue sources are, and are you really finding all the revenue that you have potentially available to you. So, I've read in the press that you guys would like to have talked about doing a 10% cut across the board. I don't agree with that kind of a way to meet a budget at all. I had a broad range of entities that I took care of, a lot of hospitals, the Aberdeen region, the Marshall, Minnesota region, and the Sacred Heart region. So that's probably 80% of the Avera books. I was in charge of those books over a
But-
period of time.
But doesn't Avera have ways to increase income that we do not have?
Surprisingly, they do not.
Really?
There, you can charge anything you want to, but there is contractual agreements, and most of the revenue is paid by Medicare, and Medicare tells you what they're going to pay you. So you could charge $1 million for something, and they're going to pay you $30,000. Doesn't matter. So no, there's not necessarily a lot of leeway in medical expense and medical budgeting. So it takes a lot of deep diving into a set of books and understanding in medical. You have to understand how the insurance companies are going to pay, and a lot of times it's your other sources of revenue outside of patient revenue. Well, that's part of patient revenue in my mind.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna throw out there that I think their frustration, as well as our office, is that's such an unknown. 20 lawsuits filed by Avera to get the county to pay poor relief. That comes out of nowhere. Just sent a juvenile to detention. Comes out of nowhere. Like all of those issues are, as Mr. Clemish said, state mandated, and yet we can't budget for them to the extent that 1 month it might be 0, and then the next month we may
Be 38,000.
owe Avera $100,000 for poor relief. So that's the difference that I see between.
I don't agree, because Avera has the same issues.
I'm sorry?
We have the same issues. We have things that we can't see coming out of the blue. The state regulations, federal regulations, insurance companies can change their rules, and you can have an MRI machine go down all of a sudden, and it was not budgeted. So, I don't see any entity, no matter how small, that doesn't have that kind of an issue. You can build in some contingencies for the budget that will take care of things if you're lucky that you built your contingency correctly, but or it's really a lucky guess where your contingencies are going to go, but it's there, that's not unique to a county.
And we don't hear all the time either, expenditures.
We just get it twice a year.
I deal with a lot of nonprofits right now. So they've got the same type of issues with grants that they've always been able to get, and all of a sudden their grants are gone. So they're running into those same kinds of issues, and you just some of it's survivable and some of it is not.
Is your program I guess when we were talking about this, we talked about maybe identifying some key people in the community that might be able to look and be willing to give us their opinion. You sound like more like this is a business that you do. Maybe not.
Nobody pays me.
Maybe not.
Nobody pays me.
We probably won't even.
No.
Maybe not for money, but I question that.
Well, in what way do you question it? I mean, I'm on some boards, and if I'm on a board, my expertise is in financial. So I probably am going to do your budgeting. I'm going to analyze your financials. I have reworked books from this set of books is completely inaccurate. And not inaccurate in the sense that it's wrong. It's just not built correctly to do a financial analysis that makes any sense. So for example of that, I've done the Catholic Church here in town, and their school was, when I looked at their books, it was like they were running an elementary school. So I built them daycare, a preschool, an elementary school, and a middle school, and now their financials make some sense. So I've done the Mead Museum, I've done the contact center. I lost track. I just do this because I enjoy doing it.
And I suspect you're very good at it.
I am very good at it. But I mean, I've got plenty to do, so I'm not looking for work because I'm bored. I am not.
So I guess at this point in time, I would like a kind of a recommendation from the commission to move forward with looking at a financial action network to move forward. And by the end of this year, which is very soon, to have a committee, a task force, or whatever you want to call it, kind of put together, and so that come January 1, January 31st, that group can be hitting the ground running, moving forward to apply common sense to 2027's budget.
I think.
I guess if Mrs. Crandall wants to take a deep dive into the county books, I think she might be surprised that we don't have a lot of fat to trim, but.
If you work with nonprofits, there's not a lot of fat.
And there would be, obviously, we would look at more people to join on this committee that would work, that would be through your recommendation to make sure that they're all compatible. We will want 2 commissioners on the committee also. Me not being one, because I'm not very good at budgets myself.
Did you have something you wanted to say, Bowen?
I was just gonna tell John that we're talking about 45 days. I'm gonna happen in 45 days.
Yeah.
There's just no way. It's
What
I got the holidays in
You
there.
gotta start it and look at coming up with some conclusions in 45 days.
I'm not looking for conclusions in 45 days. I'm looking for a team of people.
What I would propose, unless the rest of the commission would object, is it's on one.
Move it towards you though, because you always lean
Is
back.
that Don and I, and we find some members of the community, we keep it real informal. We meet and Patty, the auditor, is gonna be a real important part. And we just open our books, we go through all the unfunded mandates that we have, and what concerns me the most is that the things that we have to pay for are much more than the revenue coming in. And there's no sign that that's gonna stop. And in fact, the things we have to pay for continue rising at a much faster rate than the funds coming in. And we work with that and come with a conclusion probably February timeframe, March. Would be.
I disagree with that. I think we need to have a group of people that look at this throughout the whole year
Okay.
and come up with recommendations that, you and I and Don and Ryan and Wanda can sit here and say, hey, to the state, they're unfair, they're treating us unfairly, but we don't really know or understand where if we have someone looking at the numbers that we're paying for juvenile detention, the numbers that we're paying for road oil and things like that. I mean, deep dive, just like Catherine says, deep dive into everything and say, hey, for the last 5 years, we've really only needed to purchase 1,000 gallons of whatever. And we're doing that every year. That's the kind of information that I think we need to look at. And I'm not saying that any one of our department heads are overspending themselves, but the 5 of us sit up here 2 Tuesday nights of the month. And then, I talk to Mike and the rest of you talk to, your groups and department heads and everything, and everything's running smooth. That's what we think. But then when we look at our financials, there's gotta be somewhere that we can cut there's gotta be somewhere that you
You
can.
can't do, I mean, you got revenue, that's all that comes in. You have expenditures, you have to pay for expenditures that is that. And I guess I'm not understanding, I've been here for years and years, that
Yeah.
how you can go
Yeah.
deep dive into something that's not there.
And I'm not saying you don't do what you need to do. What I'm saying is our department heads maybe need to take a look at working with Hutchinson County and buying road oil instead of buying road oil on ourselves, and maybe we can save 20 cents a gallon. Or Paul can look at, and I know he does a great job and everything else, but maybe there's a loophole or somewhere that we can save 5 cents on a Band-Aid or whatever. I don't know. But that's the position that we're in right now.
You aren't gonna get that out of what you're talking about, Band-Aids.
No,
No, you are gonna, that isn't coming out of this look.
well, you do take a look to see how do you buy your resources. And if you can, to me, the state of South Dakota, I don't know if that is the case or not, but you look at your purchasing to see, are you consolidating all the counties together to buy things in the least expensive way? That only makes sense to me. That's the way medical practices work. You get a great big group of people to buy Band-Aids, and then you can buy them at a cheaper rate than you would,
There's 2 medical organizations in the state, basically, right?
Sanford and Avera.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. There's 66 counties and they don't do nothing to cooperate.
And that might be a problem. Maybe you should
And-
start talking about cooperating with each other.
And maybe that's something that we can find out through what, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm very
there's no-
frustrated with the position that we're in, and we sit up here and say that Yankton County is going to be broke in 3 years. We got to find out. It's our responsibility to make sure that that doesn't happen. And if the 5 of us think that we can sit here and come up with a solution so that's not going to happen, then the 5 of us need to do that. If we don't feel comfortable making sure that that's going to happen, then we need to call on people like Catherine and other business people in Yankton County to help us find out a way and an avenue that we can make sure that that doesn't happen. And as county commissioner, I don't want this to happen on my watch. That's for sure. So if the 4 of you think that you can figure this all out on your own, then I'm all with it. I'll support you 100%. But I think personally, we need to be on looking at other avenues to either convince our constituents to figure out a way through zoning or whatever it takes to generate more revenue, or we have to figure out a way that we can collaborate with other counties and things like that to cut expenses. I've said my piece. Someone else talk.
This financial action network, what are the specifications? How many people? What are their roles? They're just going to be advisors, right?
think-
Analysis and advisement.
Yes, advisement, analysis and advisement. You
Okay.
hit the nail on the head, I think.
Just analysis and advisement, and we're looking at a committee, so what's our ideal number of people? What would you think?
Well,
in a,
the team I would think would be
Keep in
4 or
mind,
5 people other
keep in
than,
mind, we want
other
two
than you
commissioners.
guys.
We want 2
Mhm.
commissioners.
I
right.
think that's a perfect size. Too big is
Mhm.
yeah,
it'll be too.
You know, I-
You don't get the input.
I really prefer to work with people that have certain areas of expertise that I don't have, that can feed me data. That, I don't have any governmental accounting background. I have none. I've done a lot of different accounting in my life. I've done for-profit, not-for-profit, foundation accounting, but I've never done any governmental accounting. I'm not going to tell you I have any knowledge of governmental accounting, but I know people that do.
And I think that my understanding anyways, is the state has an accounting system that Patty's very familiar with and knows what's going on. We just need to figure out a way maybe to melt a little bit of that into so that we can all understand it too. That's,
Well, and maybe a lot of your analysis is going to be, are you looking at assets that are being invested properly too? So in that sense, you might want to have an investment expert.
Yeah, I think that would be really, really good.
Or we might just put our money on higher interest. What a concept.
because, we're not going to change the way the accounting systems that the state uses and
No,
and that.
Certainly.
But we can figure out a way to melt everything into that system.
And like I said, I've never worked with a set of books where I thought there was anything really wrong. Never. And I've done a lot of set of books. But I think that there's always little tweaks that you can make.
Mr. Chair, we could have Susan Beeman from Minnehaha come down because they've been doing this for over 10 years and come and talk to the group on what they do and what they analyze. And at least for the first year, kind of
Absolutely.
mimic what they got, because they have a really good system and they've presented at convention before, and it's been a real positive experience. So,
But don't you think that this lady who's done
Yeah.
hundreds of hours of budgeting can manage to stumble through without having some other person come and tell her how to do it?
I don't think it's that. It's what's the harm of somebody who's done this exact same thing with another county for 10 years.
Just
What
another
would be
delay.
the harm? Well,
I think
I don't think it should be a delay. I think we need to move forward with the Financial Action Network Committee.
Is that a motion?
I can't make that motion. You could. And it's not costing us anything other than a couple of us, maybe a little bit of our time.
Then I would make a motion to have, is it Catherine Crandall, take a look at our books and do this Financial Action Network business to see if she can figure out a way to cut our expenses and increase our income.
Keep in mind, Catherine has not agreed to this program just yet, but we can make a motion, you can make the motion to move forward with the Financial Action Network Committee and hopefully.
I'm sorry?
I'll put that as an action to move forward with that.
Okay.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion by Wanda, second by Ryan to move forward with the Financial Action Network. And we will certainly keep Catherine Crandall in mind. And hopefully she'll keep us in mind. Any further discussion?
no, I'll volunteer to serve on that.
Thank you very much. And I had no idea of the skills that you possess, and it's been very informative. Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh,
No more discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I would move to approve the November 4, 2025 minutes.
Motion by Wanda,
Second.
second by Ryan to approve November 4, 2025 minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye. I would move to approve the claims.
Motion by Wanda to approve our claims,
Second.
second by Ryan, all in favor. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor,
Well,
aye.
and for further discussion, all the ambulance refunds, do we know what that's about? I don't see that all the time.
No, and I think it's either, individual paid and an insurance company paid.
That's fine.
I would move to approve the.
Wait a minute, wait. All in favor, aye.
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 I thought we did
Opposed,
that.
nay. No, Dan interrupted with a
Sorry.
discussion.
Oh, my
A
bad.
good question.
A good, yes, very good question.
I would move to approve the October 2025 Auditor Treasurer's Report and pooled cash.
Motion by
Second.
Wanda, second by Ryan to approve the 2025 auditors treasurer's report, pooled cash and pooled cash. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now's the time for public comment. Seeing none, all public comment is closed. Oh, we're gonna. Commissioner updates. Don, you got commissioner update?
Well, I think we all got a letter from the Cutler Law Firm and it suggested that all the counties in the state invite the elected officials in to have a discussion on county finances. And they're the ones that make the decisions on what we get accomplished and don't. And I think we should invite our 3 representatives, senator and representatives, and have an open public session. And it's, here's the letter if you want it.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea, and Eric from the South Dakota Counties Association sent that email out, and I think that we should definitely do that. 2026 session starts February something. We'll find that out, and we should have a meeting. We should invite them to a meeting, but prior to the session starting. And
Should probably do it in maybe December timeframe.
early December.
Well, and it's pretty concerning, some of those proposals that are coming from the property tax force talk about cutting, the increases from 3% to 2% or something along those lines.
Mhm.
I mean, when our expenses are going up 20%, but more depending on they're higher, I mean, it's gonna hurt counties even more.
So we can figure out, look at our schedules and get with the 3 representatives. I'd like to have them all 3 are at the same time. So
Okay.
let's see what we can put together for meetings with them.
And I think I'd like to see the commissioners present if possible. And I think Patty will have some responsibility of presentation to them. Because they know the system better than probably any of us.
I would hope so.
Okay. We do not have any executive session,
No poor relief today.
no
Yeah.
poor relief.
I would move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion by Wanda, second by Dan to adjourn. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.